All right, in today's video, we're gonna do some problem solving. Over the last few weeks, I've had to use my angle grinder more than I have ever, and well, it's kind of cumbersome getting out. See, it's actually in this wooden case right here, which the box is fine. It actually came from a decanter set. However, I ended up storing it over there above my CNC, and it's a pain to get down. So today, we're gonna make a holder for it that's gonna go on the French cleat wall so that we can easily take the grinder off, get a either sanding wheel or cutoff wheel, and get to work. Let's go. All right, now this is probably a pretty good example of what I've made before that I'm gonna make for this. This is actually the holder for my Sawzall. So it sits like here. All the blades are right here, which is super convenient. Now, if we take that same principle, it'll sit here something like that, but it's gotta be higher. I'm gonna take all of the either flat wheels or cutoff wheels, set them here. We'll put dowels in them so that they can just stack on top of each other, which is pretty awesome. So we got the main parts cut. So I've got this board, which at this point is probably too high, but I need to figure out the height. So we've got this board that's gonna sit here. That is where all the cutoff wheels, grinding wheels are gonna go, flap wheels. We'll put this in front, just a nice little, make it look pretty in case anything's loose. Now, the first thing I wanna do, I wanna go ahead and get dowels into that piece of wood so that I can stack these onto, and then I can figure out the height to then start marking this guy up, and if I need to cut off any, I'll know at that point, because that's a pretty big piece of wood. So, all right, so the first thing we gotta do is find center on this so that we can cut our hole, put our dowels in. So I'll see you at the drill press. Well, okay, before we go to the drill press, when you're looking to find center of something, yes, I could go ahead and measure it, or I can make it work for what I'm using. In this instance, I've got 4 cutoff wheels right here, pretty evenly spaced out. So I know if I find the center of these holes, that's what's gonna work for us. So I'm just gonna take my pencil, I'm gonna draw on the inside of the hole, and then we can find the center of that hole, and that's what we'll use to put our dowels in. So the dowels that we're gonna use obviously aren't this big. They're probably an 1/8 inch or a 1/2 inch. I'll have to see what I have in stock. So we'll find the holes for these, then we'll find the dowels I can use, get a coordinating drill bit, and then I'll see you at the drill press. We're just gonna set them in. Okay. Now you'll see we've got kind of 3 taller ones and 1 shorter one. And the reason is I'm not really gonna need the 3rd one or the 4th one that tall. And to be honest, I ran out of dowel. So that should be enough to stack even my flap wheels on. Excellent. Yeah, look at that. Okay, so that's perfect. So now, we're gonna get the pin nailer out. We'll pin these together, and then we'll set them on the wood, we'll mock it up, and then we can start figuring out how we're gonna attach the angle grinder. So I'll put a little bit of glue on here, and then I'll pin it in place. All right, now we've got that mocked up, the tool holder mocked up. Now I cut an indentation basically. I took an 1-inch Forstner bit, and that way, that kind of adjustment right there will sit in there. Now, to get this how we want, and hopefully that works, right? We still don't know until we test it. Now what I'm doing here is I'm outlining the shelf basically, because I know I can drill through the hole. And then that'll give me an exact placement from the back. Then I can line it up again, drill it from the back. All right, so we've got our holes. So the next thing we can do, we're gonna go ahead and glue it down. We'll let this set up, and then we'll come back and basically screw it together. All right, we've got the holder for the angle grinder, but now I need to go ahead and screw it in. Okay, so that's the way the holder looks so far, but I really need to test to make sure that thing even sits in there the way it should. Oh wow, it does. So we can cut off, wow, quite a bit of it. And then I'm gonna have to figure something to do with the cord. I don't know, I don't have any cord straps right now, so we may have to use some rubber bands, right? But otherwise, this thing is just gonna be hanging there, all loosey-goosey. You know, another thing would be kind of cool? If I put a screw on there, or a screw or a hook the cable on. All right, let's see if I have a hook. Okay, so that's what we got so far. I think it's too tall, so I'm probably gonna cut off at least 3 inches, because where I'm trying to put it down there, but I think this is way too tall. So we're gonna take this stuff off, run it through the table saw, trim about 3 inches. Then we have to add the French cleat. We'll get the French cleat on, and then we're done. Okay, we went ahead and cut it down about 3 inches. And then we've got a French cleat cut to size. So I'm just gonna brad it in place. I'll screw it in from the back. So we have our holder for our angle grinder and all of our wheels. So we're just gonna break a couple of these edges. Let's see if I can't set it on the wall here so you guys can see it. So we'll move our whiteboard out of the way. And for the time being, we'll go ahead and move our levels out of the way. All right, so that's what it looks like on the wall. Let's get everything put on. All right, we've got our grinder out. We've got a way to hold the cable, and then we've got 4 different ways to store our wheels. We've got flap disc cutoff wheels, grinding wheels, and then some used cutoff wheels for whatever reason I'm keeping, as well as the guard. So when I'm using 4-inch disc, now I've kind of moved to 4.5, so that thing doesn't really work. But when I'm using 4, I'll put that thing on, and then a good shelf to hold the change out tool. Now I can kind of put this wherever I want on the French cleat wall, so that gives me lots of adaptability here. But I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. You know, I think it's important when you're in your garage or your shop that you've got a problem solved, right? We all have issues, and I think the goal is to enjoy the experience as much as possible. Whether you're in the garage or the shop, have fun out here. And these little things like that make my life easier, and it's kind of fun to build. A nice little one-day build. So until next time, we'll catch you later.